Hello and welcome to another episode of Never a Straight Answer, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics, from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm Gaz, and in the studio today we've got our very own, the unsinkable shit, Mr. Titanic Taylor.
Thank you. Hello. Welcome one and all.
How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. Yourself?
I'm good. If I didn't introduce myself, I'm Gaz, your host, and Mr. T is the co-host here at Never a Straight Answer. Yeah. I'm good. Had a busy week. How about yourself?
Quiet week, just mainly work and research.
I've been working away, but I've been in a really nice place in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I've shown you some pictures of it.
Yeah,
it was
really
amazing.
nice,
it was like being in Downton Abbey.
Yeah.
And it was interesting, but it was kind of like it was still work. So,
it's work.
But nice place actually. The place I stayed.
Yeah, pictures look really gorgeous.
It's called the Car. Is it called the? Hang on. The Carberry Tower.
The Carberry Tower.
Yeah, Carberry Tower, and actually, it's got some really interesting history. So when you get there and you check yourself in and that, there's like a little welcome pack on your bed.
Oh yeah.
Usually a little sideboard or whatever, and there was this kind of bit of a history about the place, and it was kind of passed down through. First of all, the land was owned by monks, right?
All right, okay.
And they built the main body of the castle, which is like a square fort.
Yeah. For
defence over, anything else.
You had to have the room there to make him wine as well.
And then over time, the land kept getting passed around and stuff like that, and then people added to it. And so there's a lot of history to the building as well, so it was quite interesting. So, enjoyed my stay. Very nice place. So, awesome. Other than that, been travelling a bit. Yeah. So, awesome, though, because I've got a bit of time to obviously get some research done on the podcast. So we've got a really interesting topic for today. I didn't know about this sort of. It's a good one, right? And I've heard about it, but I thought
I'm
going to try and find a bit more information out on it. So I've been doing a bit of digging.
Yeah, I'd like to hear the results on that.
This is the conspiracy that the Titanic,
not the fucking Titanic,
the actual Titanic, the unsinkable ship.
Don't tell me it didn't sink.
Well, no, it's you know what, right? It's nothing like that. It is the fact that it didn't actually. Yeah, no, you're right. It didn't sink.
No,
in a lot of ways, you're right, because this conspiracy is that they swapped it out with because I don't know why there's all this big kind of fuss about the Titanic being like this ship that's one of a kind. Because
it was supposed to have been like one of massive projects.
Yeah, of course.
It was a massive project.
A lot of people don't know that there was actually two other ships that were virtually identical. Yeah. Right, one of them came before the Titanic. Yeah. And one after. Yeah. Right, which was the Olympic and the Britannic. Right. Yeah. Now, we'll get into it later, right? Stay tuned because it's a really interesting story.
Yeah. I can't wait to pick holes in it.
I know. Well, I don't.
Like I say, I don't. All I know is about a little bit on the insurance bit. Apart from that, I don't know anything.
Now, this is it. This is what it is. It's a big insurance swizzle.
Right.
So So we'll go into it a bit later on.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Very interesting.
Other than that, it's time for the news. There you go, the news. We've got the news jingle.
We've got a new news jingle now.
Straight into stories.
Yeah, well, we've been doing celebrations over the last week.
Well,
three actually. I think 3 different celebrations.
Oh, go for it. Yeah, well, I know we got the D-Day.
Yeah, we got D-Day and all that for all the old veterans, or the old boys. The old boys who did it for us and
won the war for us, for our freedoms.
Society
and all
how
that,
it is today, really, if we didn't.
got a lot of respect.
Yeah, definitely, especially at the young ages of like 16, 17, even younger. Some
a lot of them were lying about their ages and then going in because the brothers and the mates were, and they were.
But they had the big bollocks to go. Yeah, you know what? We're stopping this cunt. This cunt's coming for us. We're going to stop him.
But this is it. There was an old chap on there, an old veteran on the telly, and he was saying like, don't be kind of like thanking me, thank my mates who died out there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And he was like,
True, but he should be thanked as well.
Of course, he's just being humble, isn't he, at the end of the day? He was one of the lucky ones who got to come home, but at the end of the day, no disrespect in any way, because the fact is he got to come home, and thank fuck for that. Yeah. And, it's just a shame that not all of his friends did as well, so,
It's a big sacrifice, and we should always remember it, because there's only a few hundred veterans left, I think.
And plus, it was a big plan. There was a lot of planning involved in the.
Well, it actually went on the wrong day because
it was bad weather. That was it. Supposed to be on the 5th, wasn't it? But then they changed it to the 6th because it was some storm.
Yeah.
And then I was reading an article about it was in a reprint of an old newspaper that was put in a newspaper as a supplement.
Yeah.
And it was saying about this little article was saying a tugboat got involved in the invasion, right? When they were just by accident, and he was supposed to tug
no on there.
He thought it was an exercise, and he was supposed to be tugging them back to England. And he was like, "Nah, mate, you're taking us to France." So he was like, "What?" So he ended up going tugging one of these boats over to France, and then got off. Off on his toes. So, but yeah, it was a nice little article. He was a survivor in the sense that he wasn't even supposed to be there. He was just helped, and then he did his job, and he got him out. He got himself out of there. So good man.
Yeah, and we got to remember as well all the civilians, especially for D-Day with the French. The amount of civilians who had helped and actually had been killed because of the Nazis and the Allied invasion.
The Nazis.
Yeah. And, it was all different nations. It weren't just like Britain and America. So many different nations who helped along with trying to get into it. I mean, but with the celebrations, Russia wasn't sort of invited, and they were. It was said that they were slightly peed over it. But apparently Putin, he's been saying he weren't asked about it now.
Yeah, well.
But, they did do the East. They helped in the East, and we did the West, and we met, and we sorted Hitler out. But these are the celebrations for the
So
D-Day,
what are the other two celebrations that we've had recently then? We've had the D-Day.
We've had D-Day.
You say what else? You said there was three.
Right, yeah. Oh, well, of course, my man come to town, didn't he?
Who? Oh, Trump.
Yeah,
oh, God.
Trump come to town.
There was absolute protests all over the place.
But there weren't. There was only a few thousand.
Trump. Yeah, well,
it wasn't even worth talking about. It was that small.
No, this is the thing though, because there was protests.
There was protests,
right? But the thing is, that's out of Trump's words. Because I seen him say, "Well, I've not seen any protests."
Yeah.
I don't know what all the fuss is
about. Well, they're not
going
to show him.
Exactly.
Them over there.
They're going to take him the other way round, so they avoid all that.
Yeah.
He's not going to see any of it. Yeah. Because they want his time in the UK to be all like nice and that. So
it's a visit. He's been asked from the Queen to come and have a little chinwag and a cup of tea. Yeah, and then a couple of days here. Then he's off. I think he's out of Ireland now, but he went to Ireland.
Is he on a tour? Is he on
he's on a little tour, and then I believe he's going to Scotland afterwards, and I think he's up there now for the next couple of days, and then he's off again.
Cool.
And it's like, sweet as nuts. So, great having you, Trump. We love you.
Well,
and
you do.
Have a good travel back. Yeah.
Let's hope you
carry on what you do.
Let's hope
do
your
what
ship
you say.
don't sink on the way home.
And by the way, he's not getting our NHS. Before you say.
What do you mean?
Well,
I've not heard anything about this.
Right. Well, about the deal. After we leave Brexit.
Yeah.
See, if we leave Brexit. Basically, the deal with America is, everything's on the table, and he turned round in front of the Prime Minister and the photographers and that said that we'll be looking into the NHS and that. So
in what way? Like funding it?
No, about taking certain parts over it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like privatising it, like in terms of like
with the Prime Minister next to it, and saying nothing about it. She didn't say no. That ain't on the deal.
Him.
Yeah. So afterwards, they did like a little walk back, and the next person he was seeing right down the hallway was Piers Morgan, right? So by the time he got to Piers Morgan, she must have had a word with him, because he turned around and said, I know the NHS ain't on the table. And the 11 people...
Well, I hope not, because at the end of the day, it's got its problems, but I think under a good, government,
well, I hate to say
we can sort it out.
But there's already parts been taken over.
I know this, but like, and there will be, but we need to.
It's all to
do you know
with
what?
the
It
contracts.
can't go any further. It's all about I think it's all about the problem with the NHS. A big part of it is the buildings. Yeah. Because what they've done over the last few years is they sell the land to development companies. And what they say is to the development company, well, we still need a hospital.
Yeah.
So they get the development company to go and build a hospital.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like the new build, it's only got a shelf life for 25 odd years.
Yeah.
And then by that point, it's down to the government to maintain the building.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not only that, it costs
shit tons of money into.
It costs them to change a light bulb. It must cost the government about £1,000 to change one light bulb.
Well, they go through like maintenance companies and stuff, so it's like
which are a part of the deal, and it's like it's selling things off. But it's not going to be on the deal. And the 11 MPs who are wanting to be the next Prime Minister, they've all been sat down and asked the question: would you do a deal with the NHS? And they've all said no. But then again, you're all going to say that. You know what I mean? Yeah, everyone's going to say that because everyone loves the NHS.
This is it. It's nowhere. If anyone ever says anything bad about it, then it's like you
give
just
it
its money.
Down. Make sure the people are all right in there. Help the people. Done. No more queries.
So
about
and what else?
The third one, even better. Loving it. Absolutely loving it. A Friday was the official day that May fucks off. May's
quit, hasn't she now? Yeah, she's handed in a notice. Yeah. She's
about 2 weeks' time. She's fucked off.
Well, she's basically turned around and said she'll be on hand for any sort of
hand job.
For kind of like she's going to be around to kind of do the handover. She's not just going to jack it in and leave anyone in the lurch. The fact is, I've always said this. I think no matter who was in that job, they were going to be difficult, and nobody's going to 100% agree. And I don't dislike the woman, but I think under different circumstances, she might have been a very good Prime Minister.
I totally agree.
But I think at this point in history, where you've got nobody's agreeing on anything, and at the end of the day, you can't please everyone.
But you're not listening. That she did not listen. Well, she did, and she didn't listen to the public vote. She put them red lines in to say, right, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, and it's mainly because of the rules.
Because she I think this is it. She kind of like was trying to please everybody.
Yeah, and you can't do that. You've got
You've got to have balls and say no. Well, I'm fighting for what. To be honest, it was like say she had the corporations in the red corner, the public in the blue corner, and she's basically stood in the middle, going, well, I can't, turn these corporations off the country because they'll leave, but on the other hand, I've got to do what's right for the people, right? She's a fence sitter. She's a bit of a fence sitter in that respect. Do you know what I mean? Because she's tried to please everyone.
Yeah, she has tried to please everyone, and I think that was the worst thing she could have done. But history will tell her fate at the end of the day, and she did what she could. She did a lot of mistakes, as I see it. She did a lot of mistakes, and she should have stepped down a little bit earlier. So a Brexiteer, even though she isn't a Brexiteer should have actually been running it.
Who's your favourite for kind of the next Prime Minister then?
Right, well, Gove's in the paper at the minute about something about cocaine when he was younger. Michael Gove.
Oh right, is this the guy from
That's who they're betting on at the minute.
He's the young guy who was on the Wanted show, wasn't he?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, we'll carry on.
Yeah. I seen a little article, something about he had he may have had cocaine in his younger days or something like that. But shit sticks. You know what I mean? And he was young then, so why should it matter now? He's been in the political career for so long, and he's done an all right job from what I can see. They don't mind him in Europe either, so at least he can, get a little friendlier over there and go right, well, this is what we want, this is what we can't do.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so we might have a decent one there. But the top runner at the minute, it's got to be Boris. It's got to be
Boris Johnson.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. He is a clown, but he also he can do stuff as well. You know what I mean?
I think he's one of them where he puts his ideas out there, and a lot of the time they just come off. But I've kind of wanted Boris Johnson to be the mayor and stuff in the past. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure how he'd be as a prime minister, but.
I think Prime Minister's too much for him, to be honest. I think I'd like to see him in the cabinet, without a doubt. I'd like to see him in the cabinet because I think he has got something there. But to be honest, at the minute, I would put my hand on my heart. I would say I would rather see Jacob Mogg be the Prime Minister, and the reason why is because he has that kind of tone of tell you how it is. Yeah. And argue the case. He's a bit like Farage. He's got the numbers. He knows his history. He's a posh boy. Don't get me wrong. He's a posh boy, but he's got the gift of the gab, and he actually, as far as I'm aware, he does things. He actually does things. He's a part of the 1922 committee. Which was against the deal, basically. Which I totally agree.
Sorry, I was trying to find the guy's name, but I couldn't get it up.
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
Yeah.
I would rather see Jacob win it, Jacob Mogg, but I think I don't think he really wants it at the minute. But I'd like to see him in the future be there because he seems to be a gentleman and he's down to his word.
Fair enough. All right. Well, there you go.
And I like his views as well.
It's got views.
Yeah, it's got decent views, Sam.
I've got this story.
You haven't?
Yeah, I have. Right. Everyone's heard about Bigfoot, yeah? Right, now it's something that we've never covered, and it's not a big topic, but... it is a big topic.
It is.
But,
But there's loads
when
of
you start getting into, cryptozoology, right?
Yeah.
I know we've never covered anything like that, really. No. I mean, but... Bigfoot... What do you think? Do you think it's kind of something that could be real?
To be honest, yeah, I think
a missing link or something.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's a missing link that's learned how to either
just
stay under the ground or evade people.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that because. I don't think it's aliens, to be honest.
No, they do seem whenever anyone presents a blurry photograph of a Bigfoot, it's usually that sort of what exactly a monkey, an ape sort of type figure.
And in the missing 411, you've said some people have said they've seen this lizard or alien thing. I don't think it's anything to do with that, but I think you hit the nail on the head. Basically, it's just a missing link.
Well, the FBI
we have generations of different species here.
Now, the FBI have made a surprising revelation in the hunt for Bigfoot. A mythical ape-like creature said to reside in North America for more than 40 years. People have said that they've seen, even longer. But now the FBI have come out and said that they're going to be releasing, or if not already released, a 22-page declassified document allowing basically all about Bigfoot.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's probably all the evidence that I thought it was actually longer when I was telling you about the story earlier. Yeah, but it's they've just said that, a lot of kind of stuff they've had over the years have been hoaxes.
But they've checked it out. I reckon it's going to come out with...
There's going to be a lot of stuff that's come through... It's like the X-Files, isn't it? It's where they'd say, imagine there must be a department of the FBI or one of these areas that one of these sort of secret services where they deal with crank UFOs, do you know all the stuff that goes through MUFON? They probably look into as well, right? And they'll determine whether a percentage of that is real, legit evidence, or if it's just hoax stuff, right? So over the years, they've, got a load of different sightings, a load of different photographs, video, testimonies on seeing Bigfoot. Okay. Right? And they've gone, right, well, they've got rid of all the hoaxes, all the stuff that they thought...
supposed...
Well, potentially, right? Or anything that can be debunked, right? Yeah. And they've ended up with this 22-page document. What it says, we don't know yet, but obviously we'll be looking into that.
I see there, darked out. I think it's either going to be darked out, a majority of it, and there's going to be, like you said, the FBI. If you could get hold of some files, then you're getting little glimpses that wouldn't go out in the public. So you might be able to get little things there and go you know what, that might connect to this bit or this. Get people thinking on. Whoa. Or it might be a red herring to get you thinking that, and it actually is something else.
Well, according to this, they're basically saying that it all comes down to the DNA sample of a hair that they found. Okay, So there is some sort of DNA evidence to say that it wasn't a human species. So
generation.
And pretty interesting. I mean, like I say, we'll have to have a deep dive into that.
Yeah, we'll have to have a look in it one time. Definitely.
Yeah. In the same vein, in cryptozoology type stuff, have you heard about this? A mystery prehistoric sea creature with crocodile head and teeth basically washed up on the shores of Canada.
It's not... oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy, isn't it? So...
Splatter.
It's just basically a prehistoric looking monster of the deep has just basically got experts arguing about what it might be. So fishermen found the remains of a strange creature on the island, View Beach, near the home in Sydney. Sorry, near their home in Sydney, in Canada. The weirdest thing about it was the row of teeth and its tail.
Wow.
So it's pretty weird looking. I mean, if you want to find it on Google, now it could be just a decomposing body of something.
He looks like a decomposed crocodile, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Or an alligator. But it could be a single species that we don't know about.
Well, you don't. Exactly, that's
small amount of species, small amount of them around. And we really do not know what's in the sea. We've only done... They keep saying fucking 5%, but I don't even believe that. I believe we've done less than fucking 1%, to be honest. Because it's 75% of the fucking world, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well...
He says he's done 5%, don't think so.
He says there's a small group of people around here that believe it's there exists some kind of sea monsters that live off the coast, and they've literally got cameras watching it. So, there's people out there who do believe that, and like he's saying, they're doing the reconnaissance, trying to capture one on video. But could this be one of those things? So
it's like the Loch Ness Monster, isn't it? That's turned up again. About someone taking pictures of Loch Ness and that. But Canada's got one. But also, so's Japan. But also, so's Russia. But also, so's China.
So why are they all kind of being disturbed at the moment?
And why do they just talk about the Loch Ness and not the others, really? They do sometimes about the Japanese one, and I think the Russian one. But the others, they don't generally talk about it that much. It's not known how many are around. So, saying that in one way there's one kind of object in there that we don't know what it is, and then in other ones there's got to be something there. There's no smoke with no fire, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's got to be something there, even if it's just like that there's only 5 in the fucking world, you know what I mean? Could be prehistoric for all we know. Because they've just found in Antarctic a prehistoric animal, and it's the biggest animal that ever...
it's the biggest animal I've ever seen.
Ever on Earth, apparently.
Really?
Yeah. But then the oxygen was... back then the oxygen, there was more oxygen. Because we only have, I think, about 20 to 22% oxygen. But back then it would have been 50, 60, 70. More oxygen, the bigger you are.
Right. Oh, right.
Yeah, so it works out. It works out through That's why.
So if I breathe faster, and I'll be big and strong.
It helps the muscles, doesn't it? It brings up more muscle.
Right, fair enough.
All that kind of
I
stuff.
suppose, if you're in a oxygen-rich atmosphere, it helps life. Yeah.
Yeah, but funny enough, it's the most toxic thing in the universe, apparently. And it's like, we need it, man. That's why there's hardly any fucking around.
We need it. So, anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
I've got loads.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Space news or normal news?
Normal.
Just go on then.
Oh, we could jump to Jupiter.
No, we don't want to jump to Jupiter just yet. But crack on with that, and then we'll go on to NASA news, because we've got fucking tons.
Yeah, I like your one that's coming up next.
Yeah, I've got a good story coming up, which has actually really surprised me. So I can't wait to talk about it, to be fair.
Well, did you notice sometime last week, for about an hour, the internet turned off? Again?
No, I don't know.
YouTube, Facebook,
what time?
Instagram.
What time was this?
I couldn't tell you. Well, I couldn't tell you myself.
I didn't notice, but generally sometimes they do have intermittencies and stuff.
Yeah.
Where you just put it down to a network fault.
Yeah.
And it comes back on and everything's cool.
Yeah, but again, it's not. It's a clean up again. It's a clean up of trying to get new. Getting rid of rid of old files.
Setting up. Obviously that's maintenance, isn't it? It's
but they're also bringing in new things as well. Have you noticed? Has anyone noticed that on your YouTube lately that you're not only getting one advert, you're getting two now?
Oh no, I've not noticed that.
Yeah, you're getting two adverts on them now. You get small, this finishes at the this will finish.
Oh,
at the
like a banner advert.
Yeah.
We used to get those all the time, though. To be honest.
But then you'd have the program. But then now it's like one of them and then another advert, and then even sometimes there's two long adverts, and it's like, hold on, what's going on here?
Well, maybe they're just trying to cash in.
Yeah,
they're trying to get a bit of extra revenue.
But what else are they stopping? Because I know they've closed down a lot more fucking conspiracy sites again.
Yeah. Well, obviously we talked about Tyler and he'd been demonetised a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Luckily, he come back.
He's come back off it, but the thing is though, it's we don't get monetised, so no skin off our nose.
At the moment. But even
but obviously there's a lot of people out there who do and they kind of rely on it as an income. So don't why are you stopping people's speech?
Something happened on there.
Stopping people from talking and having an opinion. So.
Yeah. Well, this is it. They're trying to take control. They're basically trying to take control, and they're trying to enforce new laws because as of this month, I believe it's this month. I believe it's the 9th actually. So tomorrow. Or was it the 16th? Either the 9th or the 16th.
Tomorrow, yeah, go for it.
Anyone going in to look for porn will have to register either a bank account.
No, they have to age verify,
So you're going to have to put in your private details.
So when in all those years when people have said don't put your bank account details into porn sites, now you're basically your arms being twisted.
Well, no, because apparently there's in shops there's going to be an identity thing.
Oh,
identity number thing, so you get that,
so you can age verify. So basically, that's one step to having sort of
control.
A basic a chip that has all the details on it.
So you can't use
how old are you? There you go. Read my chip.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
it's
kind of
silly.
Is it a bit too evasive?
Yeah, but how far
they
go?
So.
They're getting to that stage at the minute that they're going to go that little bit further, but people won't do anything about it, and by that time,
that's it. You gradually bring it in, don't you?
Yeah.
It's and then all of a sudden, it's it's already started. We've got that. We've got that chip on us now. We carry it around. It's a mobile phone. Yeah. It's the next step is we get rid of the phone and we have that integrated. Yeah. So it's when you've got. I just don't like the idea that when you've got a register, so they've got even more data on your comings and goings.
Right.
So it's at the moment you could be on a VPN, total anonymity, right? But then you'll get to a site and then it's asking you to identify yourself.
Yeah. Why are you hiding yourself? Yeah. Blah blah this and that, and it's why do you need to know who I am?
Especially from a porn site. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I know people use them. So
data hackers
don't
and stuff like that as well.
Yeah,
you know
but at the end of the day, it's you rely on maybe a bit of kind of what's the word?
Well, it should be monitored better.
Well, more kind of like confidentiality.
Yeah.
It's like going to see a doctor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
right.
like
What's your preference?
I'd expect that, you know, level of confidentiality, but maybe they would still be happy to deliver that. Yeah, knowing that they're taking even more sensitive data off you. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully that these sites will be a bit more kind of conscious about securing the data they're collecting.
Well, I've heard it's not going to work.
Why?
I've heard a lot of them ain't going to do it.
Go for it, why?
Yeah, because they can't enforce it.
Well,
if they can't enforce it, what's the fucking point?
You'll just get one of those things where it says like, "Are you over 18?" Tick the box, and then if you are found not to be over 18,
then what's going to happen? You haven't signed no contract, so there's nothing against you.
So it's like having a thing, but like I think some kind of
but there does need
providers like mobile phone providers do that sort of thing anyway. To stop kids getting on sites that they shouldn't be going on.
Yeah, but it should be only but this always comes to the problem that it's the one who's got control who's monitoring. From their point of view to everyone else's point of view, it's totally different.
I understand, right? From my point of view, it's like I'm a grown-up, right?
Yeah.
I've got 100% freedom on what I want to search for. But the issue is that, well, you'd think, right?
Well,
but what I'm getting at is, but children have exactly the same freedom as I have. If they can think it and they can Google it, right?
Yeah.
Well, to an extent, if you can, unless your parents have set filters and stuff like that.
Yeah, which they should do.
Which they should do.
They should
do. But
what
what I'm getting at is, you know, if it's unfiltered and they're just on a normal internet connection, right? It's just been installed, right? They've not put filters on. Then that child is, or teenager or whatever, a minor, right, has the ability to access sensitive material unchecked.
And not only that,
it's the same as thing as what we were talking about, like Netflix.
Yeah,
they've got a Now TV.
Yeah,
it's like, which is another provider we've got over here.
Yeah,
where you can't watch a movie now without putting in a PIN code to say that you are over 18. Yeah. So but I can get that because it's eliminated the watershed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the watershed's gone because you can access 18. You can access Saw movies at 6 in the morning whilst eating your cornflakes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And a 13-year-old could.
But not only that, the kids don't understand how dangerous it is out there, and like you've got predators and paedophiles who will bring them in. Yeah, and like put them into danger, and even their family into danger
online. So,
or even like what that fucking dickhead who went over at ISIS said, that girl who wants to come back.
Oh yeah, because she was kind of like
now she's suing
over the internet, wasn't she?
She's suing because I was too young and I was groomed, and it was like, and that's the government's fault. I don't find that's the government's fault. I find that's the parents' fault.
I think we've gone into this before, and it's like it's a big topic, and I think well, anyway.
Yeah. Well, anyway, digital cities is what they're after making.
Of course, yeah. Like,
and this is why Wi-Fi, 5G's in cities, because they're going to do a digital city, and then they're bringing it out because they've already done it in.
When you say digital city,
Europe's already got one.
How do you mean?
Everything's digital. You can't go anywhere without being scanned and connected.
Yeah. Connectivity. It's the future.
Yeah. You couldn't fight without them knowing that you've just shit yourself. You know what I mean?
This man needs a new pair of underpants.
What's that country called? There's one in Europe now.
Here's an advert for underpants shops.
Ecuador? No, it's not Ecuador. Yeah. It could have been Ecuador, but there's actually one digital city there, and that is what Europe wants to bring all into
like
Europe.
Smart motorways and stuff like that. I mean, it's like what's wrong with bringing it up into the what is it century we're in now?
21st.
So it is 21st century.
Yeah. It is.
You wouldn't believe it. You'd believe that we were living in the future, because do you know what? I've got a story here that you're not going to believe.
Go on, and I'll say if I believe you.
Right. Well, Eric Cantona.
Oh yeah.
Legendary footballer.
Yeah.
Says he's off to space.
Hey.
Yeah, to advertise his favourite beer.
Oh, good lad.
So, you know, I mean, he's obviously got... I mean, he's an athlete, so, you know, he's probably, like, got
he's putting a few poundage now, you know what I mean? He's had a couple of beers.
The former United striker, who's been described as one of the Premier League's most controversial players ever, says he's going to space in order to advertise Kronenberg Lager. So Eric said, it's a well-known fact that Kronenberg has a supreme, taste supreme. he's not forever giving the fucking business, innit? And he wants to provide that taste to the entire universe. So he's going to improve that by going off into space, he reckons. He claims he'll be lifting off on his journey into stars next month.
Oh, shit.
And he's made this announcement dressed in full spacesuit in front of a mock NASA banner, advertising the podcast for us, obviously, to make sure he looks serious. The guy's a fucking legend.
The guy's a legend.
I hope he's telling the truth.
I hope he is.
I think...
He comes back nice, safe and sound, man.
He's done a full press conference in a full-on spacesuit. Said he's off to the stars, so yeah, good man. Can't wait to see where.
I'd like to see that.
Do you know what? If it comes out he's actually blasting off in a couple of months or next month, I'd piss myself laughing. Come on.
I'd fucking watch it.
We've got another story about a mysterious UFO. With a moving trail over China sparks hysteria.
Oh shit!
They basically said it was a missile test. Residents of China were baffled as an unidentified flying streaking object went through the sky, but then revealed to be a secret missile test.
Wasn't that secret, was it?
So, I know, when they were going to give the information straight away. It was us.
I think you find there's plenty of land over there where they could find it off and near a single person.
So there's a lot of Chinese people who were obviously speculating that it being alien activity or a missile test after the phenomenon was seen in 4 different regions of China. So it obviously covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a UFO that was kind of spotted this week.
Sweet. Well, they're spotted, hate to say it, nearly every week.
I know, yeah. Well, they're getting more prominent, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely getting more prominent.
They're
getting a bit more brave, man. But then again, we're getting more technology to actually catch them. I was watching...
Is it that we're using our technology because we've got better technology and that's what people are seeing?
Well, it used to be... where was it? Right, there was an American camp, in the 80s, I think it was around about Nevada. Now, there was a UFO and it kept turning up. Right, so one of the sergeants decided to see the commander and said, we need to find out what the fuck this object is. We don't know what it is, blah blah, this that and the other. Can we go out and do this that and the other? To work out and find out where it comes, where it's been going from, and what time, distance, everything like that. So he said no. So it was like, right. So he did it off his own back, and just as an incident was happening and he was going to go and do a bit of observing and that, he got stopped straight away. Absolutely straight away. But nowadays, you can't do that. Nowadays, it's already around before the military already have heard about it.
Right, okay.
So now they've got to look out for stuff. And that's why I think you're finding more stealthy ones now. To be honest, because I was watching one. It's just a quick look at one that the image. If you looked into the sky, it just looks like the sky. But then you turn it on to night vision, and there's a big fucking black object there.
It's like they use cameras to kind of take images of the sky, which projects it back onto the underside of the plane or object. Which kind of, when you look up, it just looks like cloud.
Yeah. And
it's crazy. I mean, that's just kind of what I speculate it to be, and obviously I've seen sci-fi movies and stuff, and I think the military have probably got a lot more stuff that we wouldn't even think of.
Yeah. Well, they're about 4,000 years ahead of all our technology.
4 million years ahead.
Fuck it won't surprise me with the calculation of we getting 2% every 2 years and them getting 40% every 2 years. If you work it out from, let's just say from the 80s, how many years advantage they would have over everyone
Especially
else.
if all the reverse engineering stuff's true. Yeah, because we don't know I remember when I was in school and they were talking about fibre optics.
Oh yeah,
and they shown us those fibre optic cables. And that was like the 90s, right, early 90s. And I was thinking, wow. And that was the latest thing, right? And now that's everywhere, right?
So you hardly hear about it, to be honest.
I mean, why did that? Yeah, exactly. So, but that's just the technology that was kind of like, if you want to believe that was taken from an alien spaceship, that is the stuff that they would be able to kind of like replicate quite quickly, easily. Get the premise of it, they can understand it, so it goes to mass market and consumer level quite easily. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I suppose it's the same as what the government's done now, and let some technologies that they've taken away
come back people,
in, bring it, but only to certain big companies. So now they're going to roll some of this technology out to help us. And keep us all nice and quiet while they carry on with all their fucking dodgy work.
All right, okay.
Keeps us, so it's not what everyone sees. People see things, but there's a lot more behind it that people, if they open their eyes, would notice it and go, hold on, and question it and go, hold on, but that just doesn't work out. How does that work out? And blah blah, this, that, and the other. And it's just the way life fucking is.
Oh, that's it, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles in some respects. But like, I think I've got a couple more stories, but I think what I'll do is I'll save them to the extra. Because time's rolling on.
Oh, it's.
And I know time flies when you're having fun.
Oh yeah.
So have you got anything else you want to talk about before we move on to the main topic?
You know what? No, I've got one, but I can put that into. I've got. Oh, fuck it, I do it because I've got something else. I've got the Ebola thing in the next.
Oh, right. Well, we know we've tried to keep it light-hearted in the extra, but we've just got an Ebola thing.
Yeah, I've got a lot on it, though. I've got quite a bit on what's happened over the last week.
All right, no worries. We'll talk about that.
But we'll talk about that later. Let's go Jupiter.
Right, okay, yeah, what's going on in Jupiter?
Jupiter, you can see Jupiter with a pair of binoculars and their moons. This weekend, and apparently Monday's the best.
Really?
Yeah.
All
this month basically is getting close.
I might pop out in the garden and have a look, see if I can see a bit of Jupiter.
Yeah.
So when's that? From the 9th onwards?
Well, no, from this weekend.
Yeah.
So you can see it now. Go out, have a look. Monday's supposed to be the best time, and then the rest of the month it will start like going away.
Right, okay, cool. Yeah, get out, see if you can see Jupiter.
Yeah.
If you're into your photography and that, if you get some photos of Jupiter, send them us, because I wouldn't mind having a gander.
Yeah, and we'll put them in our extra. So
we'll post them on our Instagram and everything as well. And we'll always copy you in as the person who took it.
Yeah.
Give you credit where credit's due.
Oh yes. Definitely.
So there you go. So moving on to the main topic. So we were talking about, we're always like into conspiracy theories and stuff like that here. And this one piqued my interest. And I came across it when you're seeing, those lists of conspiracy theories or top 10 strangest conspiracy theories or whatever. And this one came up and I was like, actually that one's got a bit of interest to it. So I've had a gander. I've been looking into this for a bit.
Yeah.
And it's in relation to the Titanic. Do you know, the unsinkable ship?
Okay.
Yeah. Now, obviously, everyone knows the story. 1912, the Titanic set off from Southampton, heading for New York.
Yeah.
Before hitting an iceberg and apparently sinking.
Yeah.
Or did it, right?
Well.
Now, according to a book by a guy called Robin Gardiner, the whole thing was a massive hoax.
What, you mean it didn't sink?
No, it didn't sink. It was an insurance scam.
Oh, right? This is, Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? It's like, at the end of the day, it's an insurance scam that went wrong if it's the case, right? Because obviously... Well, no, because I think when you start getting into the story, you'll understand a bit more.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but like the fact that 1,500 people passed away on the Titanic, is obviously a tragedy.
Yeah.
But if this is all true as well, then it was an unnecessary tragedy.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
Because the way David Gardner puts it, or Robin Gardner puts it, is that the Titanic was not a ship that was unique. It was in a class of ships. It was the Olympic class, right? So there was the Olympic, which came first,
right? Okay.
Right, which was slightly different to the Titanic in a few ways.
What, bigger, smaller?
Well, it was the same size, right? It had a kind of a promenade, right, on either side of the cabins, whereas the Titanic didn't. It went straight up to the walls of the boat, so you had more porthole, space looking out over the, for the cabins. Everyone had a window seat.
Fewer people, more space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Right. So there was a few differences in ways. Right. A couple of different ways. Whereas the Olympic only had, like, say, I think it might have been 14 portholes. Now, I'm not getting these exactly accurate, but the Titanic had 16, whereas when it came to kind of this conspiracy, one of the boats gained 2 portholes, right?
Right, okay.
So, like, we'll get into it anyway. So, obviously, it was setting off to New York on the 10th of April, 1912, and the unsinkable ship took off. And, obviously, we all know the story, it hit the iceberg. But, like I say, did it hit an iceberg or did it hit something else? Because there's a lot of people who say that it was torpedoed. There's some people who say that it was taken out by another ship.
Yeah.
There's, like it rammed by another ship or had a collision with another ship. Yeah. And then, obviously, the iceberg is another thing.
But then your first part of evidence would have to be the people who survived it and come back to shore and stated.
And we'll get back to this as well. And there's another thing about this where, obviously, if the things you'd have to do to pull off this conspiracy, obviously people know in all conspiracies there's always a level of people who know about it. Right, have an in on it or had to work on it. So they'll find that they might go off and tell the story, but you always ask why. How did how do you know
the details that you're bringing?
Well, no. How did everybody just not tell anyone? Do you know what I mean? Like, so they'll say, they were threatened, or they were kind of like told,
like a Roswell,
or paid off. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, people were skinned. Well, so, people were mostly skinned.
Well, like I say, the Titanic, it had 2 sister ships, the Olympic and the Britannic, right? Now, the Olympic was pretty much identical to the Titanic. Like I say, it was a few differences. Okay. So I don't understand why people made such a fuss about the Titanic. So I think this was a PR thing when the Titanic was obviously, because it wasn't built till after the Olympic. Right? That when they thought we're going to do this switch, and I'll get into why they did the switch in a minute. But when I think about how they got into it, that it was easier, to do than just alright. So I'll go into it anyway, right? So so I think it's a PR thing. I think like by basically bigging it up as this unsinkable ship.
And then sinking
knowing
it
when
thing.
it's exactly
right?
So it was like, oh shit, we didn't know what happened. Oh, we didn't know that was going to happen. So so they've made this big fuss. Now, the Olympic had already been running for a few months, about eight months at this point. Right?
So it'd been across what? Once or twice?
Been across once or twice, right? And everything had been going great, until it had a collision itself, right? It collided with another boat called the Hawk, right?
Right.
And it's out on the water.
Yeah.
And the damage was like pretty much irreparable, Right. So they've had to get it back to the harbour.
Yeah.
Right. And they've they're paying out the nose to get the Titanic ready. That's being built at the moment.
Yeah, and you don't want any bad publicity.
Exactly, yeah, because obviously who's going to want to get on their boat?
Yeah,
right?
Keep crashing the fuckers.
So, and now they're thinking, shit, we've got a damaged boat out of commission, it needs repairing.
Yeah.
So they go to the insurance company, right?
Yeah.
So this is White Star Liners, right? Which are also actually they go under another name, which I've got written down here, which is the International the Maritime Company. The Mercantile Maritime Company, right?
Right, okay.
So I know it is a mouthful, innit? So basically, there was, so where was I up to, right? So they've limped back, right? And they've gone to the insurance company and asked them whether they can kind of make a claim on the, oh my God, cat's causing a kerfuffle. So they've asked to make this claim, and the insurance company said, no, you're not covered.
Yeah.
Right? So all these repairs had to come out of their pocket.
Yeah,
right?
That'd be fucking a lot of money.
It's costing them a bomb, this, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously they've got no ships in action.
No.
Right? They've got one being built.
Yeah.
One seriously damaged.
Yeah.
So they decide to try and get it repaired as fast as possible and get it back out there, right?
Yeah, you would.
So they patch her up.
Yeah.
And one of the things that had been damaged was one of the port side propellers, right?
Okay.
So rather than get a new one made, they thought, well, we've got a Titanic spare here, right? We'll shove that on it, right?
Right, okay.
Now this propeller was marked with a number which was basically supposed to signify that it belonged to the Titanic.
Yeah.
Which was 410. Or 401. I think it was 401.
In case it sank or it went to pieces, they can claim what come off what ship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, it belonged to the Titanic anyway. Yeah. Right. So it went off and kind of carried on operating, for a couple of months while the Titanic was getting up to scratch.
Yeah.
So literally, so there's a conspiracy about why there's a couple of theories about why the Titanic crashed.
Wasn't the Titanic?
No, why it crashed. Yeah, right. Why, theories about there was a mummy on board, that basically cursed the ship.
Oh,
yeah, and that was a reason. It was the Princess Amin-Ra, who was the mummy. And they reckon that the mummy was cursed. I think that mummy ended up in Manchester Museum for a while.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was, right. But it ended up on the ship, and they said it was a curse, and that's why the ship sunk. There's another story about how a crewman had supposed to have painted "We defy God to sink her" on the side of the ship. And that's why they got struck by an iceberg, and that's why the boat sank.
I think that's just someone trying to, Billy Bollocks.
Obviously, there's loads of myths and legends surrounding the Titanic.
Yeah.
But like I say, the most interesting one is this one of the kind of the insurance scam. So it's like White Star Line had obviously been doing this had this issue now, right, where the Olympic wasn't gonna kind of hold out, right? And they weren't getting any money off the insurance company, so they've decided
scrap it.
Well, they could do, but they've got another boat sat there, right?
Yeah.
So what they could do, because the Titanic was actually insured for a hell of a lot more money at this point, right? It was millions invested into it, so the insurance was pretty high, right?
I think at the time it was the biggest ever insurance on a boat ever.
And as well, like I say, they've been marketing this thing as the unsinkable ship as well.
Yeah.
So what were the chances?
Famous,
exactly.
Big people want to be on there.
Everybody who was anyone had already booked their seat on it. So, the insurance through it would have been a pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the idea was that over a course of a couple of days, they would take all the lifeboats off, the bell, the ID, cover up the names, swap the names, any distinguishing marks on the Titanic, they would swap with the Olympic.
Surely paperwork and numbers would have to have been.
Well, you could think about that, but it was in a time where there was not really kind of like no authority on this sort of thing, so it's like keeping those sort of records would be down. It'd be down to them, I suppose. And then
there'd be no rules and regulations.
There would be less rules and regulations.
Then there is
and even like photographic evidence, photography was only in its like sort of early days.
Yeah, that's true.
And people generally believed what they were told.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if they said, no, that's the Titanic, that's the Olympic, then that's what they were told. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was only subtle differences. Like,
the only nosy people or newspaper people or stuff like that who would go, right up.
I bet you didn't even know that most of the time when you watch documentaries on the Titanic, or you ever see footage of the Titanic or photographs of the Titanic, you're not looking at the Titanic, you're looking at the Olympic. Yeah, because there's more footage of the Olympic, and because they were both very, very similar, the people use it all the time in documentaries because it may as well be the Titanic. It looks exactly like it, and they've got footage of it, so does it matter? Do you know what I mean? If they're talking about one or the other.
It's fraud.
Of course it is. Well,
so it's a big scam. People got rich off it, and took the money from the poor people for it.
Well, they say, they reckon that obviously the Olympic was underperforming, and there were countless electrical and engineering problems from the start. But obviously, when they had this collision, it was costing them money. They were losing money everywhere, and this was a couple of facts why. This was a couple of fucking months after the maiden voyage.
But come on.
So they was having problems. The collision with the HMS Hawk had just put a nail in the coffin of White Star Line.
Yeah.
Plus, with the insurance company refusing to pay out, so obviously repairs are going to them.
But to be honest, if you were in that situation, you were under pressure, you've got your money's it's like going out like a waterfall, and you're not getting any money in. Like you said, there's no ships actually earning them any cash or anything like that. They've got employees to pay still, they've got buildings to pay out, they've got tax and all that. Wouldn't you do the same?
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends, but obviously, at the end of the day, they didn't want to see anybody die, so it was like they had to put preparations in place if they were going to sink a ship, if they were going to send the Titanic out, or the Olympic dressed as a Titanic, to pull off the biggest insurance fraud going, of the day, then they're putting a lot of lives at risk by sinking that boat, so they're going to have to put in preparations to say, rescue as many people, if not everybody, straight away. And this is where
they faltered.
Well, they didn't, and they did, and they didn't, because they actually sent out. According to the documentary in the book, there's a documentary which is kind of based off the book, right? Now the book by Robin, what was he called? I've got his name written down here. He was called
not Robin Cook.
Robin Gardner, right? And the book is called, I can't be bothered getting that open, but the book is called The Secrets of the Titanic, or something like that. It's available on Amazon, but the book isn't all that good. But
so you're best off watching the documentary. Or
the documentary cuts. No, you get less out of it in the documentary.
Joking.
So but they do cover this stuff. But what they're saying is the ship was obviously painted up to look like the Titanic. They've sent it out, right? And the plan was that they were going to sink it and then have another boat on standby, the California, right? That was supposed to be running support, basically. So as soon as that boat went down, they'd swoop in to get the survivors. Yeah. So there was 1,500 people on board, right? And they already knew that there weren't enough lifeboats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When the California was supposed to swoop in, was like I say, when they get a signal that the boat's in distress, right? Yeah. So this is what I don't understand, because according to the book, is that there was another boat that actually crashed into the Titanic, or the Olympic, whichever way you want to look at it.
What is this? What after?
No, so basically,
during.
So the California's off out of the way.
Yeah,
right? They're just there to kind of pick up passengers when they need to. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
Right. But the Titanic's on course, right, to go to New York. But all of a sudden, it gets hit by another boat. Right. Now.
Hold on. Because right. The real Titanic or the proposed Titanic?
Well, whatever they've sent out as the Titanic. Right. So we'll call it
A.
A.
The Titanic is A.
Well,
the Olympic is B.
All right. Well, the Olympic, because they've sent that out with all the plates from the Titanic.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Olympic's still the Olympic, right?
Yeah.
Now the Olympic's gone out, right? This is according to the swap around, right?
Yeah.
So, and another boat's hit it. Right. And that's what's caused the accident, right? And that's why it's gone, right? But the tugboat that's hit it has sent out distress flares, which confused the guys over on the Californian. Right. So they never went in to pick up, right? Which meant all the people died, right?
Yeah, why not? And
I don't understand if they were looking out for a distress flare.
And
when they saw one, maybe that's what it
wasn't.
wasn't. Maybe that's what it was. They were told to ignore, specifically told to ignore it. So I don't know.
So they're accountable for manslaughter.
Well,
realistically,
like I say, they were supposed to rush in and collect. Like I say, but ended up a small boat ended up colliding with them. It just doesn't make any sense. So
it doesn't.
This is what makes me think this is a load of shit. Like, because this is this guy's book.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting theory. Yeah.
Yeah, it is an interesting theory, but I've looked into and there's been that many films and there's documentaries and all that on it that
it's a bit complicated as well. And I think I mean, at the end of the day, the White Star Line, they ended up paying out millions in compensation claims to victims over the years.
Yeah, but I bet they made billions out of the fucking sinking of the ship.
Do you think?
It was a massive amount of money that they put on it, and they must have got a massive amount of money back.
Yeah, well, I don't think they did. They might have. They might have made some money off the James Cameron thing, by basically using the name or whatever. I don't know. Do you reckon they would have?
They could have. I mean, the option's there, isn't it, really, at the end of the day?
Well, I suppose
it's all determined on...
But is it now history and fair game that anyone can kind of use it?
Well, like we said last week, for the history's
history, man.
History gets, hidden to the side as well.
Well...
You know what I mean? And you got to find a certain pinpoint and then go, right, I'm not going forward or backwards, let's go to the side and see what's there.
Yeah.
You know
well, the best evidence to support this, right?
All right,
I mean, there is quite a bit of evidence to support the theory of it, right? But like I say, I'm going to say evidence with quotation marks because some of it's
fingers in the air,
a bit bullshit, right?
Okay, I smell
but this is what they're putting forward as their best evidence, right? So the best evidence, the Olympic and the Titanic obviously look identical. All they would need to do is swap over stuff like the bells, the signs, life rafts,
numbers,
anything like that might kind of identify it on a first glance as Titanic, because all they really need, once they're off at sea, there's no one there to kind of say fuck all, is it really? But but it's mainly as a setting off, right? So there's that. Yeah, they reckon that they could have done it over a weekend, but then obviously, how did he keep that a secret? So according to this documentary, which is really terrible, all the workers were rather threatened. And there was a bit in it where he was threatens his wife and 17 kids.
Fucking hell. The kids are after you, mate. Don't go for it.
He said that they'd kill them all.
What? So now, it's a Roswell thing.
Like I said before, the Olympic had been involved in a crash with another ship called the HMS Hawk.
Right.
And during the crash, the Olympic starboard propeller, like I say, was damaged and replaced. Right. So when the wreck of the Titanic was discovered, why did that propeller happen to be on that boat? It was it's an individual number, but it also identified it to the Titanic.
I've got one for you.
Now,
paperwork. like I was saying, like you were saying, like swapping the bolts and that.
Yeah.
Right? Well, they'd have to deal with that, the paperwork. They'd have to change the numbers round as well.
Of course. Well,
now,
the thing is,
was there a mistake or someone missed?
The thing is, the Titanic's spare propeller has been used for a memorial.
What?
So so it couldn't have been used unless it had 2 spare propellers. Then
you'd have to find out the official how many propellers did it have.
Well, it might have had 1 spare for each
one.
Yeah.
You put one
so
on
if
the
both
other,
of them went, you could in theory replace both. But
in theory as well. In the Olympia, if it's already had a crash and like you'd use another propeller that you'd already have because it would take you a long time to make that propeller.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. Like, but rather than send off for a new one to be made,
there's a lot of throwing to and throwing on.
So I'm not sure about this one. Yeah, some of the evidence is kind of like makes you think, but then others just kind of throws it out.
Yeah.
So I mean, the propeller, according to records, was stamped with 401 to identify it belonging to the Titanic. So it was fit onto the Olympic ship. Do you know what I mean? And then but now they're trying to say that now they've been down and had a look at the wreck.
Yeah.
That number's shown up on a propeller that's supposed to be on the Titanic.
So they're just all coming off one basic number.
Now, like if they're all, if the number 401 is supposedly linked to the Titanic, then surely all of the propellers on the Titanic would have 401 on it. So why does that mean that it's the Olympic?
Yeah, totally. I think someone's just tried to make a mountain out of a molehill, to be honest.
Well, on the documentary, there's another piece of evidence which says
quotations.
Now this documentary's from like 1986 or something, and the CGI on it's terrible. So when you're looking at it, it's not like they've sent a camera down and got this video.
Perfect picture.
Yeah, this video of it. Like this is the smoking gun evidence. Yeah, right. Now they claim that obviously when they put the name of the boat on the side of the ship, they'd engrave it. Right.
Yeah.
So Titanic would be engraved on the boat. Right. Yeah. But when they've sent cameras down or been investigating the wreck, right, that they've discovered it was panel welded or welded on, a new lettering. So the Titanic has been welded on, right, rather than engraved. So
simple. Go down there and take it off. Then.
Well, over the years, a couple of the letters have fell off. Right. Okay. So it's obviously corroded and worn away, and it's fell off. Now it's actually fell off. Well, that's what they're claiming in this documentary.
Right, okay.
That the letters have fell off, and underneath, a M and a P is visible, right? Which obviously indicating the Olympic. So was it just a simple paint job, or was it that definitive proof? But obviously, the documentary doesn't really. If that's supposed to be true, it's not. Like actual footage, it's just what they're saying, and a bit of CGI, so it's like I'm not 100% sold on it, but then there's other stuff linked to it. I mean, the Titanic sinking didn't, obviously it happened and it was a tragedy, but there was other things that were linked to it that make me think that it was a bit more of a conspiracy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Now, there's a guy called J.P. Morgan.
Yes. Yeah. J.P. Morgan.
He was sort of like US sort of baron, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Right. So
senator.
He had a load of money.
Yeah.
The US didn't have any money. Right?
Yeah.
So he gave him some money.
Yes.
Right. And then they've ended up pissing off a load of people because he wanted to set up his own sort of like a banking system, right?
That's where J.P. Morgan comes from.
Yeah, so he set but a lot of people didn't want. Were against it, right?
Yeah.
A few of the people who were against it was it John Jacob Astor?
Okay.
He was a millionaire.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got Benjamin Guggenheim.
Yeah.
Right. And then Isidore Staru, I can't pronounce the last name yet.
Isabel.
Right, Isabel.
Yeah.
She was basically the founder's wife of Macy's in America. So she had a little bit of money. So they had money, right? Now, JP Morgan was booked in on the Titanic, right?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
He had a big suite, all the rest of it, and he's basically gone, I don't want to go, and he's cancelled last minute, right? But all three of those other influential people, and specifically people who were against his banking system idea.
Did he actually have the bank running and going at that time?
I'm not 100% sure. It was in 1912, August 1912, so maybe. Ask her.
Siri.
She's called Alexa.
Oh, is it? Alright. Alexa, when was JP Morgan banking started? Oh, she ain't listening.
Hey Alexa, when did JP Morgan banking start?
Sorry, I'm not sure about that.
She's not sure about that. Sensitive information.
See? And you what fucking pass
anyway, it might be because obviously he was in the midst of setting it up.
Yeah.
And these people had a problem with it, and they all happened to die on the Titanic. So, you know, the conspiracy about why, there was a few conspiracies around it. Obviously, you've got the mummy.
Yes.
You've got, like, the insurance scam. You've got the JP Morgan. Or maybe that was all tied into the sinking as well.
Do you think that, well, I think there would be, if we look into it a little bit more, I think there'd be a lot more evidence out there to show if it was every person who, or at least a majority of the people who died off there who didn't come back off that ship was the ones who were against. I'd be interested to find out if it actually works out that actually he just wiped out in one go. Which, don't get me wrong, they've done that in the past.
What if you went through? I'm pretty sure they've already been through the cabin,
paperwork,
and to see who was booked on the ship. I mean, obviously Jack was a stowaway. Yeah, and you know you can't account for stowaways. But, you know, and people, anyone who's a bit of influential and you've got money, you're going to be making it known that you're going on the Titanic / Olympic. But, I mean, potentially.
I mean, it just reminds me of, you know, when the Russia went into Ukraine and the plane went over and certain people died. There was certain specialised people who were on there and died.
Oh, yeah, who just happened to be on that plane.
Yeah, at the time, and it makes it... You know, it makes you
question whether it was orchestrated or whether it was just an accident.
Yeah, if it was just fate.
Now, if that's true, there's, like I say, this conspiracy theory about the Titanic, there's a lot of things at the beginning of it where I think, oh, yeah, that actually makes sense. Do you know what, right? Yeah, in terms of the insurance, where you've got a ship that's identical.
Yeah, you would do it. You would do it if you had that.
From a business point of view, it might not be a legal thing to do, but I mean, back then, it was maybe not as questionable. No, or there was, I mean, obviously there's a lot more kind of rules and regulations these days, and you wouldn't get away with it. But back then, you might have. And especially if it was all done in a dockyard where it was kind of like hush hush, people were paid off.
Mafioso.
Yeah, it's like, come on, we're going to switch these boats around, we're going to send that out and we're going to sink it, get a big payout, all our problems are over, right? Can appreciate where that, as a conspiracy, where they're going with it, right? I think with when it starts getting into what they're offering up as evidence, that's where it starts falling apart, because
lacking.
I mean, what you've done there is you've come up with a good theory, but then tried supporting it the best way you could possibly do it. Now, you could have spent 20 years looking for that, and that's the best research you can possibly come out with. Then I'm going to go out on a limb and say your theory is probably not right.
It can be argued at the end of the day. The only way you can prove evidence is if it can't be argued.
So, I mean, sorry, Robin. But I'm not buying the concept. I mean, I'm buying the concept. I'm not buying the facts.
Good idea in theory. Right? It'll make a good film, I suppose.
And I think the idea that it's like that, swapping it. It's quite, like you say, it's a good film idea. Yeah. Like you've got this big, the Titanic, and it's like.
But it does movies.
It's got like a mythology, and it's like it's got. This sort of everyone knows the story.
It's got substance, it's got past, it's got history, it's got it's
the fact that it's still down there. Do you know what I mean?
Future stuff as well. If you think about it, about where the money went, who got rich. Where did they go with that?
If you go in looking into the Titanic stuff, I mean, it's really interesting. But I just never knew that there was actually another boat. This is what sparked my interest. Yeah, another two. I mean, the Britannic came afterwards. But when you think that they were kind of so up its arse about being like this unique boat, and that's what I always kind of seen it as growing up and being educated on the Titanic. Yeah, that it was a world-class liner. One of a kind. Yeah. The world had never seen such a liner. Yeah, right. But then to find out that there was actually, it blew my mind when I found out there was two Statue of Liberties, and I was thinking, what? Yeah. There's two Statue of Liberties. In fact, I think there might even be three.
One in Vegas.
That's not. That's not a legitimate Statue of Liberty. Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is like, you know. I didn't know out there that there was another boat. Yeah. Now, now there's proof that there's another boat. Yeah. Right. So if you can say, now I didn't know that. Right. Yeah. So I know, but up until when the point of this conspiracy was going on, there was two. Yeah. Right. So you've already blown my mind in the sense that there was another boat called the Olympic, right, which was virtually identical to the Titanic. And
it had already been out there. And it had already been out,
and whereas the Titanic couldn't even make it once. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Now who's the real hero?
Well,
right? So like the Olympics, but then, obviously like never had the credit. Yeah. But then, well, you've already blown my mind this far. Well, why not swap it and be? Because that makes sense in a sort of weird way.
It's a tactical move. Yeah, it is simply a tactical move that if it was an order from the army or the navy, they would probably do the same thing.
Yeah, totally.
You know what I mean? It's a tactical move, and it worked because they're still rich off it. The families have not had to. There's no paper trail to say that they've done it.
They paid out a lot of dough in terms of compensation and stuff like that. So you know.
But there were what do you think?
What do you think, people of the internet and people of the podcast world? If you think that it's got legs, do you know what I mean? Let us know. I don't know, to be honest. I think, like I say, it's a good idea. It's a good theory.
It's a good theory,
but I'm not sure about the evidence. Yeah. So let us know what you think. If you think that you can, add anything extra to that,
add some content to it to. Tell us to shut up. Actually, this is true.
You might be a real big historian on the Titanic.
Well, it might be. It's just from the evidence that we've spotted up to now that we can't.
I can't see. I'm saying it's debunked. Yeah. I'm going to debunk it and say nah.
We're going to debunk this one.
Yeah. Debunked. NASA. Debunked. Boom. So there you go. Lovely. That's the conspiracy about the Titanic and how the insurance.
Scam.
Basically, it was a big insurance swizzle. So, like I say, not a bad topic.
No. It's interesting. It was a little different as well.
Yeah, I think some of it was a bit kind of like complex not complex, but difficult to kind of explain. But never mind.
Yeah, we got through it.
Yeah, we did.
We got there.
So
we got there.
So is there anything else you want to talk about before we finish the show?
No, I don't think so. I think the viewers have had enough of us.
We changed things up a little bit tonight as well. Do you know what? We normally have the same sort of backing music and stuff every week, which you probably noticed. And I don't know.
Up the ante a little.
Changed it up a bit, so just bear with us. If you let us know if you like it. Let us know if you don't. Yeah,
we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, and on that note, if you want to get in touch, you can email us at never_straightanswer@gmail.com. You can get us at Twitter at NASA_never, and also on Instagram at never_straightanswer. Mother.
Yeah, because she sent a message.
Oh right, yeah.
She couldn't get it.
You can actually send us a voice message. Yeah. If you want to send us a voice message, and we'll play them all at the end of the episode, right? Because I can add them as a segment. Yeah. So if you want to send us a voice message, then go to Anchor. And there's an option there to send us a voice message. All you need to do there is when you click on it is kind of allow your microphone. You're able to record as a voice message and send it us in. Yeah. And if we like it, we'll play it at the end of the show.
Yes.
Also, I've got some shout outs.
Yes, go for it. I have Mother. Shout out to my mother.
She rang in earlier. She said she wants to do a call in, and I said,
Yeah, and that cheeky chappy Chris.
I said the problem is we record it, so it's hard, people, when we do our live episode, which I think we can start talking about now.
Yeah,
we've got a few weeks. Because I think we should do a build up to this.
I think we should.
And this is the first start. We're going to be doing a live episode. For our 50th episode, which is coming up in about 5 weeks' time.
And
episode
45. You.
Yeah. And we want people to listen in live. We do realise we're going to try and do it a bit earlier. Because we do record quite late. But we're going to do it. We're going to be rather. Well, I think we're hoping to do a live stream on YouTube. As well as record the episode live.
So you can see
us, all that business.
You can see the gorgeous of us.
So I think been working on stuff. So
we're working on stuff behind the background. We're trying to develop it as time goes on.
So we'll be doing that around 5 weeks ish. So if you've got any questions for that, get your thinking caps on. And get those questions ready because
we want to hear from you.
And we want as many people watching, listening live as possible, I think. And you'll get to see us, all the rest of it. It'll be a nightmare.
Tell your friends, tell your neighbours.
I'm sure it'll be a technical nightmare and everything will go wrong.
Fun then if
but it'll be fun. So who cares?
We take
life in our stride. I can't wait to just turn the camera on Jay and then he'll be like that.
He'll be like asleep.
I've got shout outs for Mr. Coulson.
Yes, Coulson,
who sent me a
link.
Did he send you it as well?
He sent,
about the black goo.
I
think we'll be doing an episode on that at some point.
I think we should. I'm gonna look deeply into this.
The black ooze, the
I'm
black goo.
A massive X-File fan, and this was like
it
you
is.
said,
I think we have talked about it a little bit with Snowden. Right. So we'll go into that again. But I want to give GG a shout out off Twitter.
GG.
Podcast HQ.
Podcast HQ.
And then hope I'm going to say this, the Chronosphere Fiction, audio fiction series. They're basically like an audio book, I suppose. Or like a radio drama. Where they use special effects, music, all that stuff to give you a proper good experience.
Oh, sweet. I love all them,
check them out.
Extra effects and that you can add on and stuff.
I think we kind of stuck in our jingle today for
that's true.
Also, I'll give Dunk Swoosh and Mr. Crabtree a big shout out.
Yes,
our regular
Mr. Crabtree.
Listeners.
I haven't forgot about you.
Also, I want to give a shout out to every Game of Thrones fan out there, because for years now everyone's been telling me, you want to get on Game of Thrones, you want to watch it.
It's the most important thing in your life.
It's the best thing since sliced bread. And I went, I'll watch it at some point. And now all those same people are telling me, it was the worst ending going.
To tell them.
I'm glad I didn't waste my time.
I got time in that now. I don't have to fucking waste
it. All those hours I saved.
And just think that time that if we don't see that between then and when we end up starting to watch it again, they might have changed the ending.
I know, Well,
hopefully.
I think they were getting lazy towards the end because apparently they were leaving coffee cups and stuff all around the set. There was like, not Starbucks, but that equivalent style of coffee cup, and other bits and pieces. So I don't know if it was laziness. Or they were just sick of it and they were just not putting the same level as commitment into it because they knew it was coming to an end.
Well, if you knew you were leaving a job, you wouldn't be fucking working your ass off, would you, really?
Well, there you go. Well, that's it. I think that's it for this week's episode of Never a Straight Answer. I've been Gaz.
I've been Sailor.
Let us know what you think about the show. Always love your input. If you want to give us an iTunes rating or review, get over to iTunes. We've got Patreon if you want to kind of chuck in $1, $1
or two to help us advance and get even faster on getting live on YouTube.
I think we can kind of do a lot with better gear. So give us an hand. Over to Patreon, Never a Straight Answer there. And on another note, if you want something for your money, which is not that you're not getting something for money, because there's a lot of extra content that's going up on the Patreon. But like if you want merch, then you can buy yourself a mug or a t-shirt or hat or whatever you want off the Dizzy Jam, Never a Straight Answer. Also, just subscribe. You can get us on any of the podcast platforms, wherever you get your podcasts.
Spread our name. Around the world.
I've been putting that out on Twitter saying, we want a few more followers, a few more subscribers. Tell a friend, tell your mum.
Yeah, tell a neighbour, tell a copper.
Yeah,
befriend a fireman.
Yeah. I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Get the love out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's it, I think, for this week. Look forward to the extra.
Yeah.
We've got a few good news stories that we didn't have time for this week.
Yeah, I've got some nasty stories. I've got to talk about it, but I
don't want you to talk about it.
Yeah, no, but to be honest, it is important.
Save it for next week.
It is important.
Right, well, on that note, I've been Gaz.
I've been Sailor.
And that's Never Straight Answer for this week. Peace.
Out. Jeez.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.